Good morning. Hello. Today we're going to learn about attitudes. As you can see in this model, attitudes are basically our mindset or worldview. यानी कि अगर लेमैन टर्म्स में देखा जाए तो एटीट्यूड इज़ बेसिकली द वे वी परसीव द वर्ल्ड, द वे वी लुक एट द वर्ल्ड. हम जिस तरीके से अपने आसपास की दुनिया को समझते हैं, परखते हैं, चीज़ों का अंदाज़ा लगाते हैं कि कोई चीज़ कैसी होगी, कोई पर्सन कैसा होगा, कोई इंडिविजुअल कैसा होगा, एट्सेट्रा. राइट. सो नाउ दीज आर द लेमैन टर्म्स. But what if we want a proper definition? We have a proper definition to define attitude. So, please pay attention, and this definition is important. So, an attitude can be defined as a tendency to respond positively or negatively to a certain idea, person, object, and situations, and it can include belief, opinion, and biases. Right. So there are certain keywords in this definition. The first keyword is respond. So attitude is basically a reactive term because it shows how you respond to something, how your brain responds to a particular person, object, situation, okay, etc. So that response can be either positive or negative. For example, when it comes to an idea such as are abortions good or bad, are global warming good or bad, or how often should a person get vaccinated, because there are some people who don't believe in the concept of vaccination itself, right? So what are your opinions about how the government is handling the pandemic situation? These are all attitudes. These can be about a person also, for example about a friend or a teacher. It can be about an object, for example alcohol consumption, or situations, right? So, or situations or any events such as your graduation, etc. So now when you respond to these worldviews in a positive or negative manner, these things define attitude. Attitudes can be pre-existing and they can also be learned. Pre-existing से क्या मतलब है हमारा? That is, attitudes are formed before we encounter that particular idea, person, object, or situation. यानी कि before we meet a teacher, for example, you already have a certain bias or an attitude towards that teacher कि maybe that teacher is very lenient, maybe that teacher is extremely strict, right? So this is again a somewhat positive response, and this is a negative response you have towards the teacher. Now we are not born with this attitude. How do we know? How do we know that a teacher is strict? Because this attitude is learned from our immediate environment. Our friends, our other teachers, our seniors, right? These people tell us that, oh, you have to be careful of a particular teacher because she is very strict. You have to be careful, वो बहुत strict हैं, आप उनकी क्लास में बात नहीं कर सकते, etc. So these are the keywords which define attitude. Here you just have to pay attention to these words: pre-existing, learned, and it can be either positive or negative, and it is reactive in nature, right? Okay, so this was the definition of attitude. Let's come to the components of attitude. Now, what are the components of attitude? When we try to simplify attitude into one particular model, the most common and the most popular model is the ABC model. Now, why is it called the ABC model? As you can see, this is an acronym and it stands for affective, behavior, and cognition. So, in simplified terms, it's just a model which shows you how you think, feel, or act towards a particular object, person, or a situation, right? So, to explain this ABC model, let's take an example. Suppose we take music as an example, right? So, now if we try to define music in terms of affective component, यानी कि feeling, how do we feel towards music? Do you like music? Do you hate music? क्या music आपको distracting लगता है? Or can you not do anything without music? Like you can't study without music. Some people need music to study, to work out, everything. Right, so what are your emotions regarding music? Is it positive or is it negative? So, affective component basically means affect. As you write in your letters, your affectionately, it's usually a positive feeling, but affective component can refer to either positive or negative feeling. Right, now we come to behavior, यानी कि action component. So, now we know that you like music, right? Through affective component we know that you like music. So how do you respond to that liking? You you go to a concert, you buy tickets. So basically, how do you behave? This is how you behave if you like music. You listen to music a lot. So your action or your behavior is the B component, right? The behavior component. The third component is the cognition component, yani it means your social cognition, which is thinking. What do you think about music? Do you have any opinions or beliefs related to music? Do you believe that classical music is better than rap music and opera music is better then rap music is better than opera music? Do you have these certain biases towards different types of music? Do you think people who listen to music or have good taste in music are better than people who like you, who have bad taste in music, who listen to music that you don't like? So that is a belief or the cognition component. So your attitude can have these three components. So I think ABC model is simplistic enough.